This video covers the daily morning routine for the televising operators. During the summer months, we show up at 06, and during the winter months, we show up at 07.
Here is a list of the tasks associated with your daily routine. You can find this list in the back or your project book, or you can pause this video if necessary.
First thing you should do is check your time cards. You should have filled this out before you left the day prior. However, this is your one last opportunity to check it before the office manager grabs it. As you can see, once you've checked your time card, now you will go ahead and come into the office, and you go ahead and you grab a seat and just orient yourself towards the board. At this point, the morning sync will be conducted by the Chief Operations Officer. After the morning synchronization meeting is done, you should know what you're doing for the rest of the week, and you should know in detail what you're doing for the rest of that day. There will be a separate video outlining exactly how that brief occurs. After that brief is complete, you will then grab your project book. In this case, conduct your morning daily debrief with the field manager.
See the daily pre-mission brief video for detailed insight into this procedure.
During that process, you will inform the field manager what you completed the day prior, and then the field manager will tell you what he wants you to focus on for that day. You will make your plan for that day, and then you will back brief the field manager on exactly how you will execute your activity that day, and he may have some adjustments for you. At that point, you're going to make sure you take your project book with you, and we are going to head out to the shop. Okay. Once you're in the shop, your next stop will be the charging table. Right now, we are reorganizing our shop, so our charging table does not look how it will look. However, it is adequate for this video. Once you get to the charging table, you've got radios in one section, sniffers in one section, flashlights in one section, and iPads in one section. You're going to make sure that you grab your sniffer, your flashlight, and your iPad. The next stop are the vehicles. There are 3 fluid checks that we need to do every day before we drive. Our first fluid check is the oil, and then the coolant. It'll look slightly different on every vehicle, but bottom line is you're going to pull out that dipstick for the oil and make sure that the oil is within the designated marks. And you are also going to check the coolant level. For the coolant level, you just open that cap, stick the flashlight in it, and you should see a coolant level on the bottom. So as you can see here, this coolant level is low. It needs to be added. It's actually quite low. That's why we do these checks every day. If you find that you are having to add fluid more than once every few weeks, there's likely a problem, and you need to raise that concern up during the morning maintenance meetings. Right, the next step is we are going to make sure we have key items. These items are not all inclusive, but these are the items that you absolutely need every single day to get your job done. They should all be in the vehicle, but it behooves of you to do a check before you leave. And this, because the last thing we want is for you to drive 40 minutes all the way to your job just to have to turn around and come back for a really easy piece of equipment. So first thing, gloves. Next thing we're going to look for is our hook. So right here we have our hook. The next part, a highlighter. Typically we keep that inside of our project book. Some people, we have one in a project book, and they will also be found here inside the office. Every office has a slightly different location for them. Next, we want to check for our tiger tail. And if you think you're going to be doing easement work, you probably want a second tiger tail to add in case you have to deal with a fence somewhere. You'll check for your roller. And you'll also want to make sure that you have your entire camera system. So your camera system is going to include, of course, the camera head, the tractor itself. And if you're working with the EnviroSight, and you want to make sure you have the tablet and all of the cables that go with the tablet. Oftentimes we've had tablets get switched, and the operator didn't check before he left for the job, gets all the way out to the job and realizes there's one cable that he doesn't have. You're also going to want to make sure you have your project book. Project book should always go with your car keys. It's like your wallet and your license. You have to have it with you. And you want to make sure that you have your confined space entry book. And inside your confined space entry book, you want to make sure that we have copies of the permit form in the back. Every vehicle should have a confined space operations manual in it, regardless of if you plan on doing entries that day or not. Okay, the next step before you close up those doors and get the vehicle ready to roll is you want to make sure that your camera is secured. So each vehicle will be slightly different, but you can see how this camera is going nowhere, right? It's set inside the camera holding box. So we're driving 70 miles down the freeway. If we have to hit the brakes, that camera's not going to fly, smash into the wall and break. Bottom line is, what we don't want is the camera sitting on a flat surface with nothing preventing it from going forwards and backwards. And as you're driving down the road, it's smashing back and forth, ruining that camera head. Before you back out, the last step are the doors. So make sure that when you open those doors, they are all the way open. In order to make sure they're all the way open, you likely need to use one of these pulls, push the door all the way up. If not, you run the risk of clipping the top of the vehicle. Here's an example. You can see that vehicle there has the AC unit on top. So you want to make sure those doors are all the way open so that you don't clip those AC units as you back out. Operator, that concludes the televising operator's daily patterns. Again, if you need a reference card, in the back of each project book, there is a checklist. If you need it, use this card. It will help you make sure you get everything done and get it all done in the right order.